Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the December edition of the Autocall Academy webcast. I'm really thrilled that you have a chance to join us today, and we have some interesting content to go through today's session. Of course, like all the other previous sessions, we are going to be recording this, and it will be posted on the Autocall website in this Partners Only section, so you'll have a chance to go back and re-listen to it and share with your colleagues, obviously, who weren't able to attend today. The agenda for today, I think, is a pretty short one, so I don't know, we'll take the full hour and a half, and we should have plenty of time for questions and answers at the end. And we can, of course, discuss the topics today, or, of course, any other things that you have on your mind today. First, we'll be giving a Partner of the Month update to see how the program is going and to share the success. And then we also have some highlights on the ES touchscreen display. I know that product was launched a few months ago, but we really want to revisit it. It's a very powerful display with a whole bunch of great content and features in it, and we want to make sure that everybody is aware of it and how to use it. Peter Ebersol is also going to share with us an update on the training programs for Westel and the emergency communication systems. And then Brian Sheffley is going to share some training opportunities and some new improvements he's made to the website to help support learning. And then finally, I'll come back at the end to bring you up to date on some of the marketing programs that we have, and then lead us off into Q&A. So with that, we'll pass this over to Jessie, and she can take us up to date on the Partner of the Month program. Jessie, take it away.
All right. Hi, my name is Jessie, and I am taking it away. And I will be taking over from where Eric left off. And this is my very first time, so bear with me. So the Partners of the Month program, November results, the core categories, number one would be most social media posts tagging the Autocall brand. And the winner is NSG, Life Safety. The second category would be organized the most specs owners presentation on Autocall. The winner for that category is Suppression Systems Incorporated. The third category was who added the most Autocall brand to specs. Bonus point for providing a copy of the spec would be no one. So that may have been a little challenging. So because this is going to be our core category, we look forward to you actually getting on board and reaching that goal. Also, the lightning round categories. Now, these are the categories that it seems that Jim Brown, his company won. That's the winner, which is for the largest order placed based on value. The second category in the lightning round categories are competitor conquest, taking a job that was previously owned by a competitor, just not Simplex, and we received no submission. Anything else, Aaron, that you would like to add? All right, so for the December and January, go ahead, Aaron, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I was just going to talk about December, January, but go ahead.
Okay, so for the December and January competition, we've decided to actually run the same categories. The next competition will run through January due to the holidays. So we're giving you ample time to go ahead and progress through and become winners and meet those goals. The category for is the same, the social media post tagging the Autocall brand, taking pictures and post on LinkedIn at mentioning Autocall and your area sales manager, your ASM. Organized the most presentation, virtual or in person, to educate spec owners, architects, engineers, municipalities, etc., on the Autocall product line. Also, you would want to let your ASM know where and when the number and the number of attendees. Add the most Autocall brand to spec, bonus point for providing a copy of the spec. So basically, we're just repeating everything and we're extending it to give you an opportunity to become a winner.
Great. Thank you so much for taking us through that, Jesse. And yeah, just to amplify on that, we understand the specs. It can take some time to get a specification put out. That's not a rapid process in most cases, and taking a job obviously from a competitor can take some time too. So we're going to leave those categories open, and that'll give everybody a chance to spend some more time on it. And especially over the holidays, booking presentations is also, more time consuming. So anyway, congratulations to all the winners rather from the last month, and then good luck to everybody. Please get your informations into your ASM so that you get credit for it, and then we'll be pulling the ASMs in at the end of January to determine winners for the next round. And of course, everybody who wins one of these categories gets a credit for $500 worth of Autocall swag that they can go on to the Autocall ordering portal through Geiger and choose what they'd like to get. So anyway, thanks again, Jesse, and I'm glad to be working with you on this. So now we'll kick to the next section, and Peter Ebersole is going to cover ES Touchscreen.
Thanks very much, Peter. Next slide, please. So I wanted to revisit ES touchscreen display. So I know that you're all familiar with this, but I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about what's happened since it was first launched. So again, here we just have a quick overview. It's an 8-inch touchscreen display. It really is a tremendous improvement over the standard 2x40 display and the now obsolete info alarm. And we're getting a lot of positive feedback, not only from other Autocall dealers, but from end users as well, that really appreciate the amount of information that they can see on the display at one time. Next slide, please. And so, what we have now is a unified look to our product line with a touchscreen display available on all 3 of the 4000 series panels. So again, gives it a nice look and feel, gives you a lot more information across all 3 panels. And one of the interesting things we're seeing is that as 2x40 display gets older, the cost of it is actually increasing pretty substantially on a regular basis. So, it's our expectation that sometime in the next year or so, the touchscreen display is actually going to be a cheaper option than the 2x40 display. So if you're not using it, it's definitely something you'll want to start to consider for 2022. Next slide, please. And again, here's just some high points about the display. It does work with gloves, so if a firefighter, first responder comes into the building, either to the panel or to the annunciator, they don't have to take their gloves off to use it. You can also, one of the nice things I think for an owner is you can actually put a custom background up there. So the name of the building, whoever the building management company is, etc. You can put their logo up there, and it makes again a nice touch when the panel's in normal condition. You've got that logo up there all the times. And something not being widely used, but again, definitely has its application, is supporting multiple languages. So you can flip back and forth between 2 languages of your choice. So for example, English or Latin American Spanish, for example, might be a fairly useful option in many areas of the United States, for example, up in Canada, English, French, Canadian, etc. So again, something to be aware of. So that's, again, just wanted to hit some highlights, and I believe that's it, the last of my slides.
That's right, but you are up again with Westel.
Yes, I am. Thank you. So wanted to just chat a little bit about Westel. So Westel is our partner for BDA DAS systems, or as they're officially known, emergency responder radio communication systems. So they've spent the last 4 or 5 months going around the country putting together 2-day classes in certain areas where BDA DAS is starting to be widely used. These are free classes. If you're interested in having a class in your area, contact your ASM, and they will get with Bill Dow, who's our sales contact from Westel, and will work to set that up. These are hands-on classes. So Westel brings spectrum analyzers, for example. They'll show you how to do make coax connections and put the whole system together, program it. And you've got everything right there in front of you. So think of it as, what Autocall does for technician training on the fire side, Westel is doing for no charge on the training side. And again, just got a couple quotes up here from 2 dealers that have participated. Very, very positive feedback. We've only got 1 class scheduled right now for next year. I believe it's in March. And that's due to instructor availability, but we're looking to put at least 3 or 4 more on the schedule in the first half of the year. So again, if you are interested in learning more about the Westel solution, and it's another opportunity to install life safety equipment right next to the fire alarm system, because they're being spec'd together in most cases, I would encourage you to take advantage of this excellent opportunity. And with that, this will be my last slide.
All right, thank you, Peter. Brian, you're up.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. You can go ahead to the next slide, Peter. One more time. So as we get closer to the end of the year, so your training coordinator, her name is Lakin Filatico, and we're really excited that she's going to be going out temporarily on maternity leave. So she's expecting her and her husband Gavin's first child in early January. So with her vacation she's going to be taking at the end of the year, so she's going to be away for a bit. And so we have one of our technical trainers, his name is David Perry. And David is going to be joining the admin team for the time being that Lakin is off. So there's some contact information here, but we'll have some information that will come from Lakin's mailbox. If anybody sends her any emails, it'll point them out to Dave. And in between Dave and myself, we'll be able to hold down the fort for all the admin work that's going on. So we're really excited, and you'll be hearing from Dave at the next monthly webcast, which will be in January. Thanks. Next slide, Peter. So when we look at our locations where we're doing training, I wanted to point out that we are doing some limited in-person training in Massachusetts and also in Boca Raton. So this time of year, December, Boca Raton is a really nice place to visit. And if we're lucky, there might even be, oh look, a fire alarm panel on the beach. I wonder how that got there. But the training center is not far from South Beach. They're right in Boca Raton, and so it could be a great place to visit in the upcoming months. But the other locations we have, of course, Texas and Los Angeles. But for the in-person training, we'll be using the 2 classrooms on the East Coast.
Hey,
Yep.
Brian,
Yep.
just one question that I had
Sure.
before you flip off of that slide. Is there anything that you wanted to share about COVID protocols, or now that we're back to doing some in-person training, or is there a place that's spelled out?
Sure, I can address that here, Peter. Thanks. And when we do have in-person training, one of the things that we're required to do is we're required to make sure that we do social distancing in the classrooms. So that includes the instructor and the students. So sometimes we may have up to 10 learners in a classroom normally outside of a COVID, but because we're doing we have to do the social distancing and the mask wearing, which is required by Johnson Controls, we're doing up to 6 folks in a classroom. And so when they come in, they'll go through a screening protocol, and they'll have to wear a mask all the time. If they don't have one, we'll provide one for them. And then the classroom will already have been set up to do social distancing. There are hand washing stations and other safety related items for COVID. And so so while we're being careful, we still are able to bring people into the classroom. So we're really excited. So the LMS will show which classrooms and where and in which classes are available in person. And everyone should be receiving the weekly schedule that comes out via email that goes out to all the ASMs. So if for some reason you're not receiving that every week, contact your ASM and ask them to please send it to you. Start forwarding it out. Does that answer your question, Peter?
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Thanks. And you can skip off to the next slide. And we're going to talk about some LMS improvements. So recently we looked at the LMS organization and we knew that we could make it better. That's fine, Peter, you can skip ahead. And so what we did was we undertook a little reorganization to make the training that you need much easier to find and much more logically organized. So Pete, if you could go forward. Oh, perfect. There you go. Thank you. So when anybody goes into the LMS, there at the top, there is a catalog button. So that catalog button is somewhat new. We put it up there just a few months ago. And if you press that button, what you'll see is what's on the screen here. So we've reorganized the courses and the training that you'd be looking for into these different categories. So for someone who is a technician and is looking for technician training to begin their journey with our Autocall product line, that starts with the 4070S. So there's a category button there that has 3 courses in it. And those 3 courses are in-person training, virtual training, or training that you can buy that we can send you a panel to do wherever you live or where you work. So there are some choices in there. So new technicians who are being onboarded would go to this category and find the right training that they want. And so continuing on, you'd see the next panel, which covers the 4010 ES, the 4100 ES, the ESNet networking training, and also the TrueSight workstation. Those 7 courses are all in that category. So one click of the button presents all of those in one window. There are also additional e-learning courses, and in this case, there are 10 assigned to Autocall. So one click of that category button will bring all of those different choices up. Some of them include 4100 ES operator training, and that's a course that takes about an hour to do. Teaches someone how to operate the 4100 ES panel, and that's one that you can also resell to your customers who have the 4100 in their offices or their buildings. So if you're interested in reselling training, you can kindly get in touch with us and we would be able to help you accomplish that. So for new dealers that are coming on board or ones who need a refresher, there's a category panel for sales and design training. So that sales and design training category will have things such as the AC441, which is the onboarding virtual training. You'd find networking, audio training there, etc. And if there's anything that anybody would like to have for sales and design and have that done on site at their dealer, please get in touch with us and we'd be happy to get that worked out for you. So there's some additional training that's in the second row there. So we have some individual courses for fire alarms, special hazards, electrical safety, and so on. Those courses in that category you can buy individually, or you could go to the far left and there's one which is we call the best value. That's why I put that there, that you can buy training in bundles. So fire alarm fundamentals, fire alarm advanced, fire alarm maintenance and inspections, and so on and so forth. So if you or anybody you know needs to learn about these things or needs a refresher or potentially needs NICET points or CEUs for different licensure renewals, this is the place to do that. Next, you'll see the business services category, which includes our trusted advisor program. Now, this is a program of training that we provide at the request of Autocall. The Dealer Advisory Network was looking for different training to help dealers who would need to learn to run their business better, whether it's management, whether it's finance, operational items, the Trusted Advisor program makes available to you for a fee the training that can help your business succeed. So from sales training to operational training and so on, there's a lot of items from Franklin Covey, which are there, and we have our internal team of sales trainers who deliver that training. And so that's something that we're really excited about. It's new, and we are looking to enroll some folks. So if anybody has any interest, please get in touch with us. We'd be really happy to help you with that. So when we're talking about technicians, one of the things that's tough on some people is learning to program our products. Admittedly, they're not easy, but with complexity comes flexibility. So our panels, everything is an event, and everything happens on events, whether somebody pulls a pull station, whether a relay turns on or off, and we teach our techs to program the panel to use all those events to the advantage of the situation. So learning to use that programmer, well, we came up with two workbooks, one for the 4007 and one for the 4100, that would teach and enable a learner to sort of lower that learning curve of learning the programmer and how to use it. So these are great workbooks to do before someone would go to training for the first time. So rather than seeing the programmer initially when they get to the training and they're trying to nuke it all out and do all the work, they can run through a scenario where they program a system from scratch, being guided by a book in a step-by-step fashion. And every single thing that someone does is explained. So check out those workbooks, download them, open them up, pass them out to everybody in your dealer that does programming, because those will certainly help. And then lastly, we added a category of podcasts. So Peter hosts, along with Roger Reiswig, who is a fellow at Global Products at Johnson Controls. They do podcasts on a number of different topics. So they have done, I think, Peter, a dozen topics now, and we've got all 12 of those podcasts here for anyone to listen to. So they click on the category and go ahead and find the topic that you like, and go ahead and read it. And then when you're done, you can just mark it complete, and it will actually go into your training record too that you did it. So it's a great opportunity to find learning and to make this easier for everyone to be able to accomplish learning and certification using the LMS. So Pete, that's all I have. And if anybody has any questions regarding anything training, my name is Brian Scheifele, and I'm always available to take anyone's calls or questions, or anybody on my team. So please reach out. We're more than happy to help. Thanks so much.
Great. Thank you so much, Brian. I appreciate the update. Okay. And now what I want to do is just take a few minutes here to take you through some of the latest marketing updates and focus on a few things. And Brian mentioned just a few seconds ago the podcast. So again, I know that we've been highlighting this in all the newsletters that go out. So we the monthly Autocall newsletter. So we tell you when there's a new episode, and just wanted to highlight this because I think it's a great learning resource for all of us because of the topics that are covered on it. But it's also a really good thing to share with your customers. It's an opportunity to connect with them, to offer them something that's educational and not an overt advertisement, if you will, and helps keep the brand and the points of contact with those customers together. So we do have, as Brian mentioned, 12 issues of the podcast available. Number 11, which we published in November, we're aiming at one podcast a month and to try to get these out in the first week of the month. And number 11 was Decoding Codes and Standards, where Roger sat with Ken Isman from the University of Maryland to talk about what is a code, what's a standard, what's the difference between the two, and how do they mesh together to provide that fire protection framework that we use to keep people and property safe every day. And then number 12, which was just published in the beginning of December, was with Russ Fleming, and Russ was actually the president of the National Fire Sprinkler Association and a leader of the International Fire Sprinkler Association. And this session really went over how did the NFPA come to be as a body, how were the standards developed, how were the numbering systems designed, and a lot about the history of sprinklers and how they came into usage and in the current modern sprinkler today, how it was developed. So really interesting session. And then we are set to go record next week, number 13, which is going to be on testing, inspection, and compliance. So we're going to hear from some customers, some major customers who have, what challenges they have with testing, what the testing regimen looks like, how they keep records, and how ZAP and new modern compliance platforms are helping them produce, keep up with their testing, produce better compliance reports, and to again be safer throughout their facilities. So that'll be published probably the second week of January, and I think will be really useful. Again, as always, I would plug the session. They are published on a thing called SoundCloud. That's the platform we use, but they're also available on iTunes and Spotify, and you can subscribe to them. And again, please recommend that to your customers so that they can get new issues as soon as they're pushed out. And as always, we are looking for new content. If you have a topic that you'd like us to cover that your customers would be interested in, or just something you'd like to learn about yourselves, give me a ring, drop me an email, and make a recommendation. We're always trying to get stuff, we want to be relevant and useful to you. So again, we're looking for those suggestions. So next slide, Aaron. These next two slides, I know that we've also had a lot of discussions in past sessions about digital marketing and the things that we're doing, and I thought the time was good for us to share some of the results and some of the programs. So this first slide here talks about our LinkedIn program. We're focused on doing paid advertisement in LinkedIn to people who are members of groups that reflect fire protection engineering, fire design, fire technicians, essentially a pretty large number of groups that are all, related to those activities. And then we're also targeting people with key roles in LinkedIn, fire protection engineers, specifiers, people who are building owners, again, people who are key influencers or decision makers. For the month of October, we ran ads focused on the BSIU, that's the Building Systems Information Unit, which we will be launching to Autocall soon. And these are focused on white papers that are educating the market about the BSIU. It's a new solution, as we've talked about before. So we've run some different ads to see which messaging is more effective and gains more traction. And we've generated about 41,000 impressions. So about 41,000 people in October saw an Autocall related, BSIU related link. And produced 123 people that actually went through to learn more. The click-through rate was about average for our industry. So, we're producing good results with this, and we did generate 4 leads out of this that went to a salesperson for follow-up. So that's the activity through LinkedIn, and what we're going to be doing is refining the messaging on the BSIU and also weaving in the touchscreen display, SafeLink, and audio over ESNet when those are launched. So in the coming months, we'll be changing up the content and the banner ads accordingly to reflect those new launches. So the main thing here is we are doing advertising through LinkedIn. We're targeting key people, and we're generating, about 40,000+ impressions. And we think that will go up in the coming months as we have those new launches and vary up the content. And then the next slide, the second flavor of digital advertising that we do is through Google, and this is your standard advertising based on keywords, based on display ads, where you go and, like we've all had this, where you go and you search on, you search on the web for, I don't know, new electric shavers or, a socket wrench or something like that. And then every website that you go to, he seems to have windows on socket wrenches and electric shavers. So what we're doing is we are paying Google to display our banners and our advertisements when people search for specific words, and they also search for competitive brands. So through this, we ran again a bunch of advertisements based on the BSIU. We're going to be supplementing, targeting that more finely based on the results of our messaging experimentation, and we're going to also weave in safe link and audio over ESNet again when those launch. You can see here the top conversions were people coming in to Google looking for Autocall, Autocall fire alarm system, commercial fire alarm, and addressable fire alarm. So those were the top 5 combination of searches that generated hits for us, and that we served up Autocall related content. So for this program, we generated a little over 7,000 impressions with 476 clicks. So fewer impressions, but higher click rate. And then we also generated 6 conversions on here. So the conversion in Google is classified as someone who took action. So they searched Autocall. They generate. We served up a sponsored content. They said, "Oh, okay." They clicked it and got the content that we sponsored. And then once they did that click, then they took a further action to read the white paper, to watch a video, to download a brochure, whatever that conversion is, and generated activity. So again, the content here, the activity here rather, was good. It was about what we expected, and also at a rate about what we see in other industries and what our ad agency that helps us with this is seeing. So good results from this. And again, we'll share the November and December results in January when they're ready. So the main takeaway here is just to let you know the types of activities we're doing, that tens of thousands of people are seeing the Autocall brand every month through the digital activities, and that we'll be changing these activities up to reinforce key products and to reinforce key launches as they come out. So that's really the digital activity here, and we'll also going back to the LinkedIn, Aaron and I are also monitoring the Autocall AdWords, not AdWords, rather the at mentions. And so we do see when our partners such as yourselves are posting content related to Autocall, key wins, activities that you're doing, and we are liking those and mentioning those and trying to reinforce them with the Autocall branded channel as well. And Aaron, no one put you on the spot, but is there anything that you wanted to mention about that? Because I know you do the bulk of the social posting, and you do you do a lot of the monitoring of the channel. Oh, you're still on mute. There you go. Nope, I don't hear you.
Hear me now?
Yep, sure do.
Okay.
Good deal.
Yeah, I think you covered it. We've been trying to follow all the dealers and share their posts and trying to keep up with that.
Yeah, and you do the Twitter feeds, all the social posts for Twitter as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, and one other thing I wanted to mention is we do have a program. It's something called an EDM, but it's essentially, I think it stands for electronic direct marketing, but essentially we work with our team in Singapore to create and send out email messages, targeted email messages. And those emails are also going to everyone who's signed up for our communications list. So when people go to a seminar or people attend a webcast or something, and these are talking about external people, they give us permission to communicate with them and to share launches and emails and so forth. And those people that sign up for the mailing list do get monthly communications. that are targeted again at key launches and have offers in them like videos or white papers or infographics or brochures or whatever. So we are communicating and sending out emails to actually about 9,000 Autocall subscribers a month. So that's another piece of the integrated marketing, where when people get these offers like in LinkedIn and Google, they have the opportunity to additionally sign up for future email communications and to join that list and to get touched every month. So that's a little bit of background and updates on what's happening on our digital communications program. And this and PR activities are going to be something we're really going to be growing and doing more of as we move into the calendar 2022 and some of the critical launches coming out. So that's the marketing overview that I had. That is it for the slides and the formal part of the presentation. So like I said, we have plenty of time for Q&A. Please go ahead and use the Q&A window to add any questions in, and we'll go ahead and take those. And we did have one, and this one, Brian, I think is aimed for you. It says, and I just published it, it says the old Simplex LMS had the FASA BASA course. Will you be adding it here for the state of Florida?
Peter, and that's a very good question. I will take a note and look into that, and I will get back to you. So if the person who asked this question wouldn't mind contacting me directly, I'd be happy to answer that directly as well.
Great, thanks. Yeah, the name shows up as JC, but I don't see the full name. But yeah, please do reach out to Brian via email, and we'll definitely go ahead. Or you can reach out to me and Aaron with any other questions, of course, and we'll share them. We'll share them as we go through. So I don't see any other questions in the channel here. I know that we have a pre-holiday session here, so we'll issue a last call. If anyone has any, please speak now, if you will. And I also just wanted to take this opportunity, first of all, to thank you all for a fantastic year. You're an excellent set of partners, and I really enjoy working with the Autocall line and with all of you. And I hope you all had a very good year, and above all, with COVID and everything else going on, a very safe year. And I wish you all who celebrate the best for the holidays coming up and for the new year. And again, stay safe, protect yourselves and your families, and we'll really look forward to catching up with everybody and reconnecting after January when we resume our regularly scheduled programs. So I don't know if anyone else has anything else that they want to add to that, and anyway, and no other questions have come in. So I think we'll wrap up for today, and again, wishing you all the very best.